My next patron question is from Andrew, who wants me to compare two enormously successful film series aimed at young adults. During the late 2000s until the mid-2010s, there was a trend of young adult books getting the big screen treatment, mostly due to the success that WB had with the Harry Potter franchise. While a lot of them either did okay, falter in the case of the Divergent franchise, or pretty much did not make it past the first film, two of them stand out as being major successes, and did gain a major fan base during their runs. So my question is, which franchise is better, The Hunger Games or Twilight? I remember when both of these were a big deal, although I did see all the Hunger Games films on their original release, and I even read the books. I only watched Twilight for the first time recently, and it was interesting watching the latter far removed from when its popularity was at its peak. However, if I had to pick a preference, The Hunger Games definitely wins for me. For me, the larger appeal of The Hunger Games comes from its social commentary. Suzanne Collins clearly had a lot on her mind regarding the media, reality television, public relations, and us becoming more desensitized to violence, and that comes through in both the books and in the film adaptations. I actually think these are really smart films, and the filmmakers did a great job of also exploring this world. I think all the movies are good, although the first remains my favorite. It shows the brutality of these games and how barbaric they are, as well as Katniss Everdeen's intelligence as she tries to make it through them alive. Jennifer Lawrence was an excellent casting choice too, showing the roller coaster of emotions she's feeling, as well as her quick thinking. The world building also deserves commending, as we're plunged into this future society, and each character is given plenty of personality to help them stand out. President Snow becomes an especially despicable villain, and each film successfully showed the growing animosity between Katniss and Snow. The Hunger Games was able to combine Greek mythology with a futuristic dystopian society, and show the rise and fall of an empire, and I think that's why these books and films resonated. Regarding Twilight, I know these movies were a punching bag, but I actually think they had merit in spots. There were gripes over the way Stephenie Meyer played with vampire mythos, but I actually found that to be the most interesting aspect, as we learned plenty about how they function in normal society, how they feed, and other things. There was clearly a lot of thought put into their history, and I did not mind following the Cullen family. Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson also do exactly what the roles require of them, and they give fine performances. Bella is written as awkward and insecure, and that's exactly how Stewart plays her, and Pattinson also helps make Edward mildly interesting. The Twilight films do show self-awareness at times, and when they attempt humor, those bits land. I especially liked Anna Kendrick's role as Bella's best friend, although her screen time diminished with each movie. One thing I did find consistent with this series is that while each installment started promisingly, they eventually got more ridiculous. It does not help that most of Bella and Edward's screen time involved them making pretty eyes at each other. The plots of each entry also get duller when we enter the second half. For example, I actually thought Breaking Dawn Part 1 would end up my favorite of the series, because once the two leads get married, their romance actually got somewhat interesting, and there was plenty of that self-awareness I mentioned. However, the second half mostly has Bella dealing with pregnancy problems, and Jacob got more focus. Alright, let's talk about Jacob, who is by far the worst character in the Twilight Saga. I could tolerate the other characters fine, but Jacob had the impressive ability of sucking all the energy out of the room. He's portrayed as whiny, overly possessive of Bella, and has the same angry scowl most of the time we see him. That's why Eclipse was my least favorite of the series, because it was the most focused on the love triangle. He does lighten up a bit in Breaking Dawn Part 2, but then there's his whole relationship with Bella's daughter, which is just... I also did not much like that entry because a lot of it consisted of just Bella hanging around the Cullen house and forest, and a climax where the good vampires and bad vampires shout to each other from across the field. It also concludes on such a cop-out note. Overall, while underwhelming, I do find the hate towards the Twilight series a tad overblown. They exist as cheap romance fluff and wish fulfillment for teenage girls, and if the box office is any indication, it's clear the target audience got what they wanted out of them. Now let me know in the comments whether you prefer Twilight or The Hunger Games, and thank you for your question, Andrew.